White House trade advisor Peter Navarro has accused New Delhi of being a laundromat for the Kremlin. He's also said New Delhi does not need oil from Russia. Now, he added saying that India does not appear to want to recognize its role in the bloodshed and is in fact cozying up to Xi Jinping. The White House trade advisor has gone ahead to accuse India of not creating peace and perpetuating war. He has further gone on to accuse India of cheating the US on trade and has also called the tariffs Maharaja tariffs. Navarro said he thinks the new tariffs on India will come into effect on August 27. Now, his statements come as EM Jaishankar was in Moscow and called the logic behind Trump's tariffs perplexing. The EM also called out America's hypocrisy and said that India was not the biggest buyer of Russian oil. Listen into the EM, followed by Trump's motor-mouth trade advisor, Peter Navarro.
And the Indian situation is very interesting. A lot of people don't know this, but prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February of 22, India bought virtually no Russian oil. Let me say it again. Prior to the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, India bought virtually no Russian oil. I mean, it was like 1% of their needs. So the argument somehow now, as the percentage has gone up to like 30 and 35%, and then they make refined products, which they sell at premium prices into Europe, Africa, and Asia. It's strictly profiteering by the Indian refining industry, big oil. Now, think about India when you think about the tariffs we're putting in place. 25% because they cheat us on trade, 25% because of the Russian oil. I ask you this, what is the net impact on the Americans because of our trade with India? Well, let's think about it. They have higher tariffs, there are Maharaja tariffs, higher non-tariff barriers. We run a massive trade deficit with them, so that hurts American workers, hurts American businesses.
We are not the biggest purchasers of Russian oil, that is China. We are not the biggest purchasers of Russian LNG. I'm not sure, but I think that is the European Union. We are not the country which has the biggest trade surge with Russia after 2022. I think there are some countries to the south. We are a country where actually the Americans said for the last few years that we should do everything to stabilize the world energy markets, including buying oil from Russia. So quite honestly, we are very perplexed at the logic of the argument that you had referred to.
Meanwhile, Russia Today's Anastasia Volodina unpacks this simmering war of words.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held bilateral talks with his Indian counterpart in Moscow, where the two sides discussed a wide range of topics, including those on the international and regional agenda. But of course, the main focus was on the conflict in Ukraine. And Sergei Lavrov underlined that Russia actually wants Ukraine to have a neutral status, and we've heard that for a very long time now, and that Russia will not accept Ukraine's alignment with any military bloc, especially the NATO. And Russia has previously stated also that Lavrov underlined that the root causes of the conflict must be eliminated, and we have also heard that on a number of times, as this is one of the key aspects why the special military operation started in the first place. Both foreign ministers praised the flourishing bilateral ties between Moscow and New Delhi, with Lavrov stating during his opening words that the trade turnover between the two countries has increased by 15% in the last year. And of course, the two sides had a very fruitful conversation. They've managed to discuss energy sector, transport, infrastructure, and of course more. And Lavrov's Indian counterpart has also praised the flourishing ties between the two countries. Sergei Lavrov also emphasized that the two countries will take their cooperation to a new level, and Indian actually, when asked a question about Washington's attitude towards India buying Russian oil, and as we know, the US has put pressure on India for India's support, so-called support of the Ukraine conflict through buying Russian oil. Indian Foreign Minister actually stated that India is perplexed with the US's logic, underlining that New Delhi actually trades with the US as well, and these numbers just grow as well. So overall, the very fruitful and productive talks between the foreign ministers of Russia and India as well, and with both countries clearly set to take relations to a next level.